business now. Charles here. He's talking about the US dollar, the world's preferred reserve currency, weakening, Charles.
The greenback held by governments and central banks around the world as part of their reserves, meaning it's seen as a currency that'll keep its value in the long run. So seeing its value drop will be a concern. And looking at the US dollar index, which tracks the US dollar's value against a basket of 6 other major foreign currencies, we can see that the dollar hasn't seen such lows since 2022. It's still high if you look at it in an even wider historical context, but it did see a dramatic drop over the course of Tuesday trading after Donald Trump was asked about the decline and didn't appear to be too concerned. It was the biggest decline since Donald Trump actually announced his Liberation Day tariffs back in April. Take a listen.
With the current value of the dollar, do you think it's declined too much?
No, I think it's great. I mean, the value of the dollar, look at the business we're doing. No, dollar's doing great.
You want to see it decline?
You know, it's very interesting. If you look at China and Japan, I used to fight like hell with them because they always wanted to devalue their yen. You know that? The yen and the yuan. And they'd always want to devalue it. They devalue. And I said, not fair that you devalue because it's hard to compete when they devalue. But they always fought, no, our dollar's very good.
So, Sean, what explains Donald Trump's tone here, then?
So a huge part of the MAGA economic agenda is bringing back manufacturing to American shores and getting the jobs that would come along with it. Donald Trump believes that a weaker U.S. currency would favor the development of this U.S. manufacturing sector, as it would favor the export of U.S.-made goods. And as you heard there, he's often accused China and Japan of deliberately weakening their currencies, the yuan and the yen, in order to boost the competitiveness of their export sectors.
So there you go. Now you know why Trump likes a low dollar, but why is it weakening right now?
So there are a number of factors weighing on currency traders' opinions on the direction of the greenback, the US dollar, and a lot has to do actually with Donald Trump. First off, there are concerns about US economic leadership. We saw it last week with the whole Greenland annexation threat driving a rift with European allies and leading to investors globally selling their US assets, notably treasuries, that so-called sell America trade. Then there are what could be seen as deliberate moves by the Trump administration. The US Treasury last Friday hinted at the possibility of buying up Japanese yen in order to prop up the falling Japanese currency and weakening the dollar in the process. In addition, the future of the U.S. central bank is in the balance. The Federal Reserve is also a cause for concern. If Trump continues his attacks against its independence, it might hurt the long-term credibility of the currency and its value. And finally, there's the state of the U.S.'s public finances with an elevated $600 billion deficit and no clear plan to cut it. Can the U.S. currency be trusted to remain stable in the future?
Stocks then, Charles, how are they doing?
So let's have a look in Europe, where shares are opening the session mixed. Investors keeping an eye on the U.S. Federal Reserve's first rate decision of the year coming in this Thursday, widely expected to keep steady, but they'll be looking at hints on the long-term trajectory there as well. In Asia, stocks trading higher, especially in South Korea, after Trump seemed to walk back his tariff threats on the country by saying, quote, "We will work something out." And gold, meanwhile, keeps soaring in value as the US dollar weakens, climbing over the $5,200 mark, dollar an ounce mark.
Now, something different for you. The UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, he's heading to China for a 3-day visit.
Starmer is seeking a diplomatic and commercial reset between the two countries after years of icy relations. The trip comes as a number of nations, including the UK, are seeking to reduce their dependency on the U.S., which has become an increasingly unpredictable and unreliable partner in both geopolitics and trade. Brian Quinn has more.
In relation to security,
Keir Starmer making the first visit to China by a UK Prime Minister in 8 years. As he got set to leave, Sir Keir said he'll be seeking re-engagement with the world's number 2 economy after what's been dubbed an ice age for bilateral relations.
The absence of engagement is just staggering. A dereliction of duty, because it means that, unlike our allies, we have not been standing up for our interests.
Along with two top economic ministers, Starmer is being accompanied by dozens of business executives from firms like HSBC, AstraZeneca, GSK, Jaguar Land Rover, and British Airways. They'll be seeking increased access to the Chinese market, especially for products like financial services, automobiles, and Scotch whiskey. China is the UK's fourth largest trading partner. In 2025, bilateral commerce accounted for around £100 billion. Starmer, for his part, will be seeking increased Chinese investment, which currently accounts for just 0.2% of the UK's total foreign investment. The US, on the other hand, accounts for fully 1/3. But Donald Trump's chaotic approach to U.S. trade policy, in which tariffs are brandished as punishment for political disagreements, is increasingly driving a global trade realignment among many of America's allies. Just this week, the EU signed what it calls the mother of all deals with China's rival, India, itself the target of hefty U.S. tariffs. A British rapprochement with China, though, risks provoking further commercial retaliation from Washington.
Charles, thanks very much. Charles Pellegrin with Business.